Okay. Yeah, sorry for the disturbance, inconvenience. Okay, so today we will start. The topic is inequality. What is inequality? Hello, I think you will have to unmute. You will have to mute. All the participants have to mute.
Mute mode. Mute mode.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Can you ask the participants to mute?
Yes, sir, you can go ahead. We have muted all.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of disturbance is there.
No, we can hear, sir.
My background it is.
Sir, you can go ahead, sir. We have muted all. Except Srinivas Murthy.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
No.
No.
Oh, screen no.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಶೇರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್ ನೀವು ಮೊದಲಿನ ಥರನೇ ಅವರು
Sir, you have to share the laptop screen.
ನೋಡಿ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿ
Sridhar, you can share the screen, your laptop screen.
ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಸರ್
Presentation ilva? Sir, do you have presentation PPTs?
Sir,
Yeah, presentation is there.
Yeah, you please
Presentation
share
is there, then you have
that.
to share the.
sir, you can share screen now, sir.
I did it, no?
But nothing is coming on this.
1 minute.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್
Yeah, can you see?
Now
Yes,
it's
sir, yes,
visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. About my background, it's already been told. I worked in BML, in Autoliv. I worked in GE, then Satyam, L&T, and Moog Aerospace. So I worked in all domains, filed about 6 patents, entered some projects, written articles. Here we are also doing community development work. We are giving interest-free loans to students to study. We are doing that as a CSR activity. Now, today's program, what is it? We'll make it as interactive as possible. So what is it that you're expecting from this program? The topic is inequality. So what is it that you're expecting? Can anybody tell? Okay, go ahead. We don't want to waste time. We'll talk a little bit on quality, the definition of quality. Then we'll start with status quo. Then talk about little misconception. Then we will talk about quality, what is not quality. Then these 4 I leave it blank because I don't want to put words into your mouth, thoughts. So we will leave it blank and see going forward what it is. Okay. Now to start with, what is quality definition? Everybody knows what is quality. So there are various definitions of quality. So as per Deming, he has taken an example of issues. What is shoes? What is quality in a shoes? So he has taken an example of a shoe saying that if it fits well, the quality is good. Juran says it is the concept of fitness for use. That is the definition by Juran. Crosby says quality is conformance to requirement. ISO standard says it is product or services that bears the ability to satisfy stated and implied needs. Ishikawa says it is the quality of the product, but also after sales service. He says, hello? Yeah, same thing. Feinbaum, he says quality is overall picture of the organization. all the departments. So there are various definitions of quality. Now go ahead, we'll see what it is not. We will start with this most expensive words in business. You might have come across this. Every company, this is the standard. He says, we have always done it this way. That is always like that. Nodi Swami, now hirade hige. Now ide madodu, hinge madodu. That is what is the standard answer. That is not the way we do things around here. Again, it says, we have been doing like this for ages together, we will continue to do as it is. The other one is, that is the way we do things around here. We have been doing like this, again, we will continue, we don't want to change. And the last one is, doesn't matter what we say, nothing will change. Whatever suggestions is given, the management is not prepared to listen. They say, okay, fine, nothing will change, then the people will get demoralized and then they'll stop giving any suggestions. So these are the standard things which are there in most of the companies. Now, what does it lead to? We will see that. Now, we'll take a smart example again from any organization. A group of scientists place 5 monkeys in a cage in the middle of the ladder with bananas on top. Just imagine these are the quality people and this is the QMS on top. So every time a monkey, that is what a QA person, QA engineer, he goes up the ladder to get the QMS. That is the quality standards or the QMS or the quality instructions. He goes to the top to implement the system. Once it does that, the scientists soak the rest of the monkeys with cold water. That is the QMS. This is the QA person, maybe the MR or the QA head or whoever it is. Next, after a while, every time a monkey went up the ladder, the others bet him and one of the ladders. So every time a QA person goes up to get the QMS or to put the systems in place, the rest of the people pull him down. Then what is the motivation he will have? Nothing. After some time, nobody dared to go up the ladder regardless of the temptation. So that is the plight with quality. Nobody wants to take the responsibility of a quality department. Nobody wants to be in charge of quality, and nobody wants to be in charge of quality, be a quality engineer or in a quality department. That is the plight because we are caught between two sides. This is a normal situation. The next, the scientists then decided to substitute one of the monkeys. The first thing they did was to go up the ladder immediately. That means he hired a new person. The management says this existing team is no good. Things are not improving. So we'll get a new person from outside. So they recruited a new person as head of quality or whatever it is. Then he started to put the system in place. So after some time, the new member learned not to climb. The same thing happened when the new person started to implement the system. Everybody started beating. So even maybe this is the way things work here. So he stopped doing it. Then gradually what they did was they replaced all the people with fresh team. A new team was invented, new people were taken out, the old. So all that management changes happened. But was there any effect in that? Absolutely nothing, because the 4th monkey was substituted, beating, and finally the 5th monkey was replaced. It is the same. The situation continued. Next, what was left was a group of 5 monkeys, even though never received a cold water, continued to beat up the monkey who attempted to climb the ladder. Means what? The new person, the new management person, representative, or the new recruit, he tried his best to put the system in place and replace the existing one, but it didn't work. Finally, it was possible to ask the monkeys that it would up those who attempted to go up the ladder. I bet you would answer. I don't know how things are done around here. Does it sound familiar? Yes, this is the situation in most companies. This is what we face day in and day out from a quality department. This is the answer what we get from a quality department. Now, don't miss the opportunity to share with others. They might be asking themselves, why do we continue to do this if we are doing this in a different way? There are ways and means of doing it differently, but even then we continue to do as it is. So what is going wrong in this? What is going wrong in the department? Or what is wrong with quality? Nobody wants to listen, but everybody wants quality, but nobody wants to implement quality. So that is the situation. Now we will see what it is not. Now there are various tools in the market. There are hundreds of quality tools. You take a TPM, TQM, there are hundreds of quality tools. You take 5S, Lean, Process Six Sigma, FMEA, risk analysis. There are so many tools which can be used to improve quality. Do you agree that all those tools will improve quality? Is it yes or no? Can I get anyone? Hello? Do you feel that all these tools will improve quality?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I have a different perspective. Now, if I say that none of these tools will improve quality because quality is a mindset. That is the only thing which improves quality. It is not the tools. Tools only facilitates, but it doesn't improve. Quality is not working with tools, but with conscious. Do you agree with this?
Yes, true.
Quality. And who has told that?
Murthy.
It is mine. No, Sridhar. Quality is not working with tools, but with conscious. That is what I say. So none of the tools will help. You can teach the people tools. Any tool can be taught to anybody, but unless and until that person has got the conscious work, the things will not improve. That is what quality is. Okay. Now, some of the myths and misconceptions what we see in everyday life in every company. Number one, it says our organization is different. The quality management system is no good in our reality. Yes, everybody talks about this. Everybody says the system is bad. System doesn't work. That is because every problem is hidden from the top management. You see here, problem known to staff 100%. Everybody knows what is the problem. But when it comes up to the executive, to the board level or to the management level, they see only about 5% or 10% of the problem. Why is it? Because all the problems are hidden. They don't want to reveal the problem. They don't want to take initiative. They don't want to cut the problem. Because of so many reasons, maybe because of fear, because of something, they don't want to reveal the problems. That is the issue. So how will it improve? What quality systems will improve? Nothing will. Now the second one is, it is too hard to convince our partners. Why do you want to convince the partners? Partners may be anybody. It can be any stakeholder. It can be internal. It can be external. It can be customer. It can be anybody. Why do you feel that it is hard to convince the partners? You need not convince him. They'll automatically get convinced if you follow the system. You need not tell them anything. You need not try to convince him. That is another myth what we are having. The third one is once introduced, the qualities within our organization, we will not be free. Our creativity will be curbed. We will remain entangled in the mess of bureaucracy because you'll have to follow the systems. You'll have to follow the guidelines. You'll have to follow the QMS, SOPs, work instructions, everything. That is because this is how the team works. When the team is working like this, when the MR or the top management is working like this, if this is the example what you are setting to the employees, what creativity will be there? There's absolutely no creativity. And nobody will like to work in that such a setup. The next one is the rules prevent the emergence of the best. That is because you feel that your voices are curtailed. Nobody will listen to you. So once that is done, it is status quo, what we saw in the second slide. So once it is status quo, it is good. It is the end of the company. So the NRL's paralysis will be they dismissed anything as fat. Whatever you tell, nothing will be listened. Didn't take challenges seriously. Followed the same strategy year after year. So nothing will work. Nothing will move forward. Nothing will improve. Because the rules, you have to stick to the rules. Yes, you have to stick to the rules. It is obvious. But even then, the rules are there as a guidelines. You have to follow the rules. You have to follow the systems and the QMS. And things will improve. But if you want to take a shortcut, then it is gone. The next thing is, ours is already a quality product service. Many of them claim that ours is also already a quality product and service. We are the best in the world. There is nobody else to beat us. So that is what everybody says. Based on their perception, it is their product which is the best. When that is the case, it will be like this. You might have seen this scenario: a rat sitting in a jar full of cereals. It will start eating. By the time it realizes that everything is gone, it's difficult. It's too late for it to come out of the jar. That means you are caught. So by the time you realize it, then you have to take different action. You have to come out of this. You have to see what best you can do. What is the actions you can take? What is the corrective actions? What is the continuous improvement you can take to improve further and stay ahead of the market? Or if you're just complacent and say that I have enough of money, I have enough of resources, I have enough of orders on hand, let me continue to do what I'm doing. It will be too late because there are competition in the market. The scope of improvement is infinite because perfection is unattainable. So you can never say that I am the best and my quality or product is the best. There is always scope for improvement, which you have to understand. The next one is the application of rules belonging to the family of ISO does not provide, however, a good quality. People feel that following ISO will, just for name's sake, it will not provide any good quality. Again, that is a misconception. Because if you put a system in place, it says our process is extremely efficient, but you're not going anywhere because you're going around in circles. That is because you're not monitoring it properly. The system is not being reviewed. There is efficiency is not there. There's no MRM being happened. There's no metrics, there's no KPIs in place. It is not being tracked. There are so many issues in every company. If you don't agree that there are issues, then you put a system in place, it will take you nowhere. You have to monitor the system. You have to monitor the ISO or standard, or you need not call it as ISO, any system, and see that it works for you. But that is not being done in any company. Another one is quality and productivity are incompatible. You say first it is production, next it is quality. That is always the thing. First you want money, next it is quality. But Taguchi says cost is more important than quality. But quality is the best way to reduce cost. You should remember that quality doesn't cost you much. It will help you to reduce cost because there is a Taguchi loss function analysis which has been done. I'll show you in the next couple of minutes. So it is always quality first, then production. Productivity will automatically come when quality is good. Because when you talk about quality, QUALITY, it says quantity undoubtedly is always less important than yield. Means what? Quantity is undoubtedly less important than yield. Yield is output by input. If you want yield to be 100%, that means output and input should be okay, 100% okay. That is what is quality. So always quality comes first, then automatically the quantity follows. Again, any idea who was told that? It is my own. So I always stress that it is quality first, then quantity. Similar to Taguchi. The next legend is the quality is too expensive to implement. Those that govern it are economically burdened to the customers will not be willing to pay. It is absolutely not true because when you take this example, this is how the quality function works. This is how the graph. Okay, this is how the graph works. When you talk about the quality function, you can lower the cost by maintaining quality. The cost can come down. The failure cost and the total cost will definitely come down if you improve quality. Because once you improve quality, the overheads will come down. Once the overheads come down, the cost will come down. The cost of the product will come down. That is what is called as Taguchi loss function. But no doubt after a period of time, it increases. That is a different scenario. But cost will come down if you improve quality. That people should realize. It is not the other way around. The next one is the certification does not serve as long as our customers do not require it. Means what? Everybody gets ISO. Most of the companies who are registered here are ISO certified, right? So once you are ISO certified, next thing you say that I'm not getting any value from the certificate. You got an ISO certificate, you put it in your chamber, you put it in the boardroom, you have displayed it everywhere. But the problem is you are not getting anything out of it. You feel that it is unnecessary overhead, unnecessary burden. You're spending too much of money for the certification and the audit and cost. How will you get the return of investment? How will you get the ROI if you're not working toward it? ISO certificate is not just for putting on the wall. You'll have to work towards it so that you will get the benefits out of it. You'll have to identify the metrics, the KPIs, and work towards it, see that you realize the benefits from the certificate. If that doesn't happen, there's no point in putting the certificate. You can just put this and start praying God that things will improve. That is what it is. People feel that a certificate is only for namesake. It is only for the customer. Customer wanted it, so we got it. It is not for us. That is a misconception. It is not for the customer. It is for you if you want to improve the process. And last one is you will have to hire more employees to manage the system. Because you feel that a team of 3 people or 5 people in a quality is, it is not sufficient to manage a team of 300 or 400 employees in a company. Why is it so? Because you are not utilizing the resources to the full extent. Given any resource, you have to utilize it properly. If you don't utilize any resource, that is the problem you will have. How many engineers can you have? How many quality engineers can you have in a company? You cannot afford to have more because they are not inspectors. They are not policemen to check everything what is happening in the company. It is individuals' responsibility to see that they work, they follow the systems, and the systems help them. So that is how the systems are put in place. That is what the reason for putting the system in place is to help the company for every department. So the management of the resources is the key. How you manage the resources, it depends on the management. These are some of the myths and misconceptions which is there in all the companies, which we hear regularly, day in and day out, we come across this. Any questions? Do you want to ask any questions? Is it clear? Hello?
Clear.
We'll go ahead.
Yes, please.
Fine. Next. We'll see 2 scenarios. You have 2 pictures on the top and 2 pictures on the bottom. Can you tell the difference? What is the difference between the first 2, these 2 and these 2? Is there any difference? Don't tell me it's a different father and different son, assuming it is same. Is there any difference? Do you feel that the top 2 are different and bottom 2 are different? If so, what?
In the top picture, he is just taking the guy along with him. And in the bottom picture, he is trying to make the guy child to understand what he is showing.
Okay, right? That is what is quality. Quality is nothing but your perception. Quality is perception. Unless and until you say just because you are right doesn't mean to say the other person is wrong. It is not that. The only thing is, issue is he sees it differently and you see it differently. Take the example of this. A tall person who is pointing something to the child. This fellow feels that he can see everything, but he is not able to see because the perception is different. But in this case, when he comes down to that level and comes down to the level of the child and then points it, then you will understand whether he is able to realize what you are telling. That is the perception with which we have to work. Then that is what is quality. Quality should be user-friendly. The system should be user-friendly so that everybody can use it, the system. You cannot write some hypothetical QMS or work instruction so that nobody uses it and they are fed up of using it. That cannot happen. So quality is perception. You should make it work for everybody. The next one is, when you talk about perception, you know that front view, back view, front view, we are all engineers. We know how it looks, what is perception. Now coming to quality, it's a package deal. When we talk about quality, we are not talking as an entity. We are not talking about quality from the point of view of a quality department. We are talking as a holistic approach in an organization, how it helps, what it does. We'll see a small story. I think you would have seen this story, right? The hare and the tortoise. To the same story with a different perspective. We'll try to understand what is it that they are conveying in this.
They decided to settle the argument with a race. Losing the race, losing the race, losing the race, losing the race, losing the race. Not taking things for granted. There's no way to turn a good week You can beat the round. Makes noise.
Hello. Hello. So, can you hear me? Hello.
Sir.
Can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What does this story mean?
Yes.
If you can map this situation to the existing situation in any company, it only says as a package, as a company, at the given a company, you take into quality department or any department. So it is a teamwork. It is when you put the process in place, process is meant to be used and useful for all the departments. It is not for quality department. Everybody feels that the QMS, what is written, is only for quality and nobody wants to use it. Because they feel that they are not the owners for it. The ownership is the QA department. Ownership is by the head of QA or the MR. He is not the owner, nor the company head is the owner. The ownership of the document is by everybody. And that is what we should understand and work together as a team. That is what is quality. Okay, next, going ahead. Let's see what is not quality. So quality is not to be taken for granted. What people normally tell is, okay, fine, chalta hai, there's no problem, jane do, nothing will happen. We will work as it is. If something happens, by the time something happens, I will not be in the company, I will have changed the company. It is not my problem. So that is how the people say, they will take it for granted. When quality works, we take it for granted. It is not when we fail that we truly realize it's right. That means you realize the value of a thing only when it is lost. When do you think that quality, you have a quality problem? When there is a customer complaint, when there is escalation, when there is a rejection, then you'll think of quality. Till that time you feel that, okay, fine, everything is going on well, let us continue to be as is. Let us not disturb a sleeping lion. That is not quality. You'll have to see how you can keep on improving. Hello? Hello? At every point of time, you'll have to see how you can keep on improving yourself and keep on raising the bar. That is the requirement. So you take it for granted. The next one is quality is not different for export and domestic market. You should realize that, but you take any product, you say this is export quality, this is local quality. How can you have two quality levels and two products? It is not the quality, it is the requirements. Maybe the requirements told by the export customer or foreign customer may be different. The requirements by Indian customer is different. You are meeting the requirements. You cannot say it is export quality and local quality. You take anything. You take soap, Mysore sandal soap, you have export quality, you have local quality. Can you afford to have local quality and export quality, say for mask nowadays? So is it okay if Indians die and this one foreigners live? That is not acceptable. So you cannot have two quality levels. That you should understand. There is only one quality. The next one is QA's responsibility. Quality is not QA's responsibility. Whose responsibility it is? It is everybody's responsibility. Quality is the person reading this who is responsible for quality. That you should understand. That nobody understands. Everybody says that it is QA's responsibility. If something goes wrong, please ask QA. Something is not right. If there's a customer complaint, please take QA person into task. What will the QA person do? He cannot do anything. Next, quality is not value-added activity. Quality is not value-added activity, means you cannot waste time on quality because it should be process-driven, it cannot be person-driven. So value-added and non-value-added activity, you have three things. Non-value-added activity, you have to eliminate. Where non-value-added activity but necessary, try to minimize. And value-added activity, try to optimize. You have to do these things. And quality is a non-value-added activity. That checking is non-value-added activity. It is not quality, it is checking and inspection. You have to build that into the system and see that the process works for itself. You cannot have an outsider or the inspector doing the inspection 2 times or 3 times or 4 times. It doesn't work. How many times will you do the inspection? Even then there will be failures. Even then there will be something which is missed and gone to the customer. So it has to be process driven, and quality is not a value-added activity. Again, the same point. Quality is not people driven. It is always process driven. It relies on the process. The better the process is, better the quality. So always the process comes first, quality automatically follows. Then you feel that quality is an additional responsibility. Quality is not additional responsibility. It is part of your work. But you don't realize, everybody feels that if you are asked to do quality work, that means you have got additional responsibility. You require more time. You require more resources. No, it is your work you have to do. Nobody need to tell you that quality is your responsibility. It is not additional responsibility. It is a minimum job which you have to do along with anything else. Then quality is not a marketing tool. Means what? You cannot keep on announcing to the customer saying that you are the best quality and yours is the best product. You cannot do that because quality automatically speaks for itself. You need not tell anybody. The product will speak for itself. When you give a good quality product, customer will automatically come back to you. He will not go to anybody else because he knows that your product is reliable. He knows that your product is good and functions well. So he will come back to you. You need not announce, keep on announcing. It is understood. Then quality is not fake. Means what? You cannot fake quality. That is what everybody does. This is a common scenario during any audit. Being an ISO audit, internal audit or external audit, this is how the audits are done. When you say that auditor is coming, everything is closed, everything is put under the carpet and kept under lock and key. What will the auditor do? He is coming here to identify problems and maybe internal auditor, external auditor, forget about external auditor, the internal auditor. They are there to help you and help the systems being put in place. You cannot hide the things from him. If you hide the things, that means we are fooling ourselves. Nothing will improve. The things will not improve. So you have to remember that audit is a fact-finding exercise. It is not fault-finding. It is fact-finding because it is meant to improve the system. Then quality is not customer-driven. Again, it is not for the customer what we are doing quality systems. It is not for the customer we are getting the ISO certificate. It is not for him that we are following the process. It is for our own sake. It is for our own good to improve ourselves and improve our company and improve our bottom line. So it is our internal activity. It is not customer driven. Customer might ask, you have to be ISO certified or AS certified if you want orders. If you want to give a quote, you should be ISO certified. That is a mandatory requirement. But see, putting the system in place is his requirement, it is your requirement. Then finally, quality is not a wish list. Means what? We are not Harry Potters. And quality is not a magic wand. Like this, you just wave a magic wand, everything will improve. Again, wave it, another thing, on-time delivery will improve. Wave it again, defects will improve. It is not like that. It is not a magic wand which you keep on waving and things keep on improving. It will not happen. It says a gardener may water the plant daily, but fruits only go in the season. Have patience. Everything is destined to happen at its own time. Means what? There is a gestation period for quality to improve. If you want to improve quality, it takes at least a year, minimum 1 year to improve the system and process which is there. If you want to audit a process and put a system in place and see that you get a good ROI, it takes at least 1 year. Just because you're calling a consultant doesn't mean that overnight things will improve. He cannot do anything. What will the consultant do? He will only tell you what is right, what is wrong, what has to be done. And the efforts have to be put in by the management. The efforts have to come from within. The outsiders can just work as catalysts. They are not magicians to set right the problems which is there in the company for years together and overnight it will be set right. It's not possible. So don't assume that your quality and your thing, MRM or your audits are just a wish list. It is not like Harry Potter. So this is what some of the things which quality is not, which we should remember. Next, when we talk about this, the next thing which comes into the picture is quality upbringing. What do you mean by upbringing? How do you improve quality? How do you bring it up to speed? And how do you say that it helps your process? This is one example where you have a Six Sigma process or a quality improvement process. Start from basics and QC tools. It goes ground up. It goes to Sigma level. You have the low hanging fruits. You collect that. Then you go to Six Sigma, use that. You have come to 4 Sigma or 5 Sigma level. Then you use DFSS. You go to Six Sigma level, etc. That is how you graduate top the ladder. But is that quality? Improving the system, is it quality? It is not. There is something below that we should realize. Quality is not getting to the root cause of the problem, but sowing the right seed. Again, who has told? That is what I am telling. Right? Do you agree or not? It means quality is not getting to the root cause. What we feel about quality is if something is wrong, we feel that do a RCA analysis, do a root cause analysis, do a fishbone diagram, give an 8D report. By doing that, what is it that we are achieving? We are not achieving anything. We are only doing a band-aid to the problem. But sowing the right seed means that is what we call it as a quality culture. That is what we call it as a quality conscious. If that is there, you need not have any 8D or 6 Sigma or 7QC tools or your one analysis. Nothing need not be done. It's not required because it is inbuilt. We'll see an example. Now, quality upbringing, when we talk about, you take the Japanese system, for example. The Japanese education system believes that requiring the students to clean up themselves after the work. That is how the system is. That is how they are taught in Japan. By doing that, what is it they are gaining? By doing that, they respect their own work and the work of others. That is the culture what they are teaching the students or the children from the young age. So after that, after they leave the school, when what they teach in school, what they learn in school, when they graduate and come to an organization, join an organization. So you might have seen these pictures. Being the head of the organization, he is a head of the organization, a CEO of the company, cleaning the floor. So this is where the culture comes into the picture. When you are taught in the younger ages, then later on the same thing gets translated into 5S. You can call it as 5S, or you can call it as a quality system or a culture. You can call it by any name. But that upbringing is what is important. That consciousness, if it is there, quality will improve, the things will improve. Now, this is the Japanese culture. Take an example of an Indian culture. The same similar situation, it is there in one of the Chennai households. There is a house in Chennai which has got ISO certified. This is the first house to be certified. Means what is it they are doing? It's nothing but they have a system in place. All the systems are put in place. All the things are kept in its place, and all the children, the family members, they are taught or they are asked to behave in a particular fashion. And even when guests come in, the guests are given tea and the feedback is taken as to how was the service, how was the tea, etc., so that you improve yourself. And that is what we are doing in a regular life, and that's what you do in a company also. And every 6 months, there is an audit. They audit themselves. They see that there is no NCs, there is no problem, etc. They got ISO certified. So we are not talking about ISO for a company. ISO is nothing but the way we work. That is all is ISO. If you feel that the systems are put in place to help us to work in a way, particular way, so that there are no problems later on going forward, that is what is quality system. An outsider need not come and certify you. You can certify yourself saying that, yes, you are following systems and process. And this is an example of a Chennai household, the first house to be certified. Quite surprising. So this is what is called as quality upbringing. And after this, the next question is your quality culture. So what is quality culture? When you talk about all this, the whole thing, the complete entity is your quality culture. The quality culture is a set of values that guide how improvements are made and everyday working practices and how the outputs are being consistently shown. That is your quality culture. It is arguably it is a set of taken for granted practices that encapsulate ideology or group. You might have seen everybody talking about quality culture. Everybody says, every company says we have a quality culture in our organization. What do you mean by quality culture? It is supposed to be that every company or every department follow their systems and processes. It is supposed to be like that. It is not just talking that we have the quality culture in place, and when you go and audit, you have hundreds of NCs. It doesn't mean anything. But actually the quality culture is, it should come from within. Everybody should work hand in hand and see that the output of one department is okay and it becomes an input for the other department, which is defect free. That is what we call it as internal customer. So once you recognize as an internal customer and external customer, things will get easier. That is quality culture, what we are talking about. And after quality culture, the next one is your attitude. Your attitude to quality. What do you mean by attitude? How do you say that your attitude is good or you have the right attitude for performing quality activity? Attitude means the work we deliver and the product we ship and the experience we extend to customer. So when we talk to the customer or when we talk to an outsider or maybe an internal customer, the way we address the issue talks about our attitude towards quality. It only shows, do you have a passion for quality or not? Means what? In every activity you do, any simple thing, maybe a value-added activity and a non-value-added activity, it can be anything. What is the efforts we're putting in to see that it goes on smoothly and becomes a good output? That is your attitude. To invest in quality, but do not forget to invest in the people who carry the right attitude. That is what is important. When you hire a person, when you talk to a person, when you're putting a person into a quality department, it is not a punishment transfer. You're not giving him because there's no other job, you're gonna put him into quality department. That person should have the right attitude, he should have the right conscience, he should have a passion for doing quality activity. Such people should be put in quality department. Not randomly pick up something maybe as a job rotation, which people do as in HR departments. It's a job rotation that everybody have to work in quality. That doesn't work that way. Job rotation is okay for other departments, but not for quality. It is not that we should not do away with quality. We have to learn quality, but you have to have that inherent passion and attitude to work in the department. You shouldn't be excited to do that. And people and their attitude is the core of excellence. We need attitude of quality rather than anything else. Not about tools. Tools you can teach anybody. You can go for a 2 days training or 1 week training, you can learn Lean. Go for a 1 month training, you can learn Six Sigma. Go for 1 day training, you can learn QC tools. Learning tools are easy, but implementing it and having a right attitude is difficult. You don't get people like that. Quality is free, but only to those who are willing to pay heavily for it. If you don't have that attitude, if your attitude is okay, chalta hai, nothing will happen, it is okay, leave it, forget it. That means quality is free, you're taking it for granted. Who are willing to pay heavily for it later on. Means what? If something happens, you know the problems of product recall. What is the amount of money you spend in product recall? In repairing a product or replacing a product or giving service to the product, customer complaints. You're spending huge amounts. That is what happens when you don't follow quality. When you just take it for granted, it is okay, means you'll have to pay heavily for it later. So again, it says quality is an attitude. It is a soft skill. It is not a hard skill. It is not a tool. It is not something which can be learned. It has to come from within. Do you agree? That it's an attitude, it's a soft skill? That is what I say. I don't know if you agree. I feel that it's an attitude. I'll give you one example. Again, a Japanese example. You might have seen this thanks to WhatsApp, because all these are WhatsApp messages. The Japanese have a great liking for fresh fish. The waters close to Japan have not held many fish for decades. There is a problem in that. So to feed the Japanese population, the fishing boats got bigger, went further. Further the fishermen went, it took a longer time to bring back the fish. No doubt they got huge amounts of fish. They were able to catch a lot of fish, but the problem is they took long time to come back, catching the fish. The longer it took for them to bring back the fish, the stale they grew. Fish were fresh. Japanese did not like the taste. So what did they do? Do you have a problem in hand? You have a solution. To solve this problem, they installed freezers. So once you install freezers, they would catch the fish, freeze them at sea. So problem is solved. Freezers allowed the boat to go further. You can stay longer, catch more fish, keep them, make it, freeze it, bring it back. But again, you have a problem. And they did not like the taste of frozen fish. Frozen fish brought a lower price. I don't know. I am a vegetarian. People who eat fish will be able to answer this. They told frozen fish will not taste good. So again, you have a problem. Fishing companies installed fish tanks. This is the next solution which they came up with. They would catch the fish, put it in the tanks, stuff it in the tanks fin to fin, completely fill up the tanks with fish, bring it back. Did it solve the problem? No. Again, they had a problem. They had a little, after a little while, after a little hashing around, the fish stopped moving. They were tired and but alive. So fishes stopped moving because it was completely filled up in the tank. There was no place to move. So what happened? If it doesn't move, then unfortunately, the Japanese could still taste the difference. Because the fish did not move for days, they lost the fresh fish taste. Even that has a taste. The fish which is moving freely and which is not moving, it seems there's a difference in taste. Okay, again they have a problem. The Japanese preferred the lively taste of a fish, not sluggish fish. Fishing industry again faced a problem. So what did they do this time? They came out with a solution, but it has got more the crisis that emerged as one of the most important trades in that country. They came out with a solution, permanent solution, which has made a fishing industry one of the most important industry in Japan, maybe in other countries also. And how did they do it? What did they do? To keep the fish tasting fresh, the Japanese fishing company put a fish in the tanks, put a shark in the tank, but now they added a small shark to each tank. So the only thing what they did is added a small shark in each of the tanks. So what did the shark do? It ate a few fish. Most of the fish arrive in a very lively state. The fish are challenged and hence are constantly on the move. So the fish keep on moving around so that it doesn't get caught and eaten away by the shark. So the movement is there. So the taste is good. So they solve the problem. And they survive and arrive in a healthy state, command a higher price and are most sought after. So this is what is your attitude towards quality, because you are customer focused. You are always thinking about the customer and you want to see the customer is made happy or kept happy at any cost. Keep on improving. That is what is your continuous improvement. So it says man thrives oddly enough only to be presence of a challenging environment. So whenever there is a challenge, you keep on coming up to the challenge and raising the bar. If you don't do that, satisfaction is death. This is what we saw in the first slide, status quo. If you don't change yourself, if you say that you're complacent, everything is okay, it is going on as usual, as before, that means it is end of the company. Because there are competitors waiting to overtake. If you are steadily conquering the challenges, you are happy. Your challenges keep you energized. They keep you alive. Put a shark in your tank and see how you can rely on. Moral of the story. If you look healthier, younger, there is a shark in your tank. Means what? There is always an urge to improve things. There is always an urge. You have to have an urge to improve on quality and improve on the systems and do a continuous improvement. It may be cost reduction. It may be process improvement. It may be design improvement. It can be anything. See that you continuously keep on improving and reducing the cost and improving the quality. That is the requirement. That is the thing of the day. You have to do that at any cost. Like it or not, that is how the industries work. So here it says quality is not what you do right, but when you want to do it right. Means what? It is not that you are doing something right or wrong. That is not quality. But when you want to do it right, when you have that attitude, when you have that frame of mind to do it right, that means you are taking the right steps. Quality begins from there. It is not after doing it, do a root cause analysis, correct it and solve the problem. That is not quality. When you think that you have to do it right, that is a good step forward. Again, it is my own. People might agree or they may not agree. That is what I feel. Any questions so far? Anything you want to ask? Anything you want to share? Do you agree to any of these or don't agree? Yes, sir.
The satisfaction is there now. In terms of customer satisfaction or stakeholder satisfaction.
No, any satisfaction. Satisfaction means being complacent. Satisfaction means listen, that is all. I cannot do anything further. I cannot improve further. That is satisfaction. You cannot be satisfied. You can always improve.
Yes.
Just because you got a customer rating of 5 out of 5 doesn't mean to say you are
Yes.
good.
Okay.
You can always improve.
Okay.
You can change the scale and improve further. That is what is
So
improvement.
continuous improvements.
Yeah, continuous improvement. Right.
Yes.
You can do anything. It can be Kaizen, it can be anything, any continuous improvement, but it has to keep on improving. You
Yes,
cannot
yes.
stop.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
Sir, in a turtle story, sir, you concluded with teamwork. So, is there any technique, sir, for obtaining teamwork, sir? Because it is very challenging.
Yeah, there are a lot of examples. There are games, simulations, which I have conducted a lot of teamwork exercises to help identify the teamwork and to build a teamwork. I have done that. There are various ways of energizing a team and making a teamwork happen. But there should be a constant effort. It's not a one-time activity. It should be a continuous activity. But there are games, there are ways of doing teamwork. Examples. Many are there.
Yes,
Maybe
sir.
we
Thank you,
can.
sir.
Maybe we can discuss after the session later on. You can by mail or call.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, shall we continue? Okay, going forward. Now what we are talking is, okay, you have got the person, you hired him, you hired the quality department, the whole team is there in place. Now what can you do? You cannot do anything. You cannot send them out, right? You cannot remove the people. So what is it that you can do, but still improve the quality to the maximum extent possible? One of the ways is the power of authority. That means the person in the quality department or the head of quality or MR or whoever it is, when you talk about quality, it can be a junior engineer also, or it can be a worker who is in the quality department. He should be given the power of authority. If you don't give that, people get frustrated if they are not do not have the authority. I'll give you an example. An agent, that is an auditor, goes to a property, tells the owner of the old farm, I need to audit your property. I need to inspect your property. There is a complaint that you have an illegal plantation. There is some problem, customer complaint. The farmer says, or the company owner says, okay, audit whatever you want, check whatever you want, but don't go to a particular place. And he points out to that area. You avoid that area, you check the rest of the places, whatever you want to check, you can check. The auditor says, do you know that I have the power and authority with me? I can go anywhere I want. I can check whatever I want. I am an auditor. I have the authority to do that. So please don't stop me. Okay, fine. The company owner says, the company manager GM says, okay, fine, no problem. Sorry. You can see whatever you want. You can go wherever you want. You got full freedom to do that. Very good. Few minutes later, he hears a scream and sees the officer running to save his own life, pursued by the biggest bull in the farm. Each step, the bull gets closer to the agent, to the auditor, who seems to be caught before reaching a safe place. He came back shouting. The agent is terrified. The auditor is terrified. The farmer drops the tools, runs to the fence and screams with all the forces in his lungs, tells the auditor, the badge, show him the badge. Show the badge to the bull. Tell him that you are the auditor. You have the authority. Tell the bull. Bull will keep quiet. Is that authority? That is not the way the authority works. You cannot misuse the authority. Authority means, okay, fine, if there's something wrong, the person should have the authority to stop the work. If there's a production problem, he should be able to stop the work. and the top management should support, equally support. The authority cannot be like this. They're involved in certain decision making. All the QA people are there. The full complete QA team is there. Final authority is with the management, is with the GM or the head of the organization. That is not authority what the quality departments requires. Then how will things improve? When there is a problem, they point out the problem and everything is vetoed by the top management. They say, no, it is okay, fine, leave it. Next time we will set it right. How will things improve? But what is required is the right authority. And the top management should be there to ensure that the authority is not misused. They should not misuse the authority, but they should take the right decision and see that the things improve and it is put in the right perspective. It is what is the authority, what you can give. Because you have taken the people, you have recruited them, you cannot send them out. If you do this, again, I can say, tell you that things will improve and the system will improve. It will definitely improve. But if you take away that authority, if you only give him the roles and responsibilities, he will get frustrated because nobody listens to him. When you go with a problem to the boss will say, hey, okay, fine, you come back with answers, not with problems. That is the standard statement which every boss says, right? Don't come here, come to me with problems. I know what are the problems. You come with me, come with answers. What answer can he give? Because nobody listens to him. Both sides will not listen. Fine. That is management issue. Now, putting all this together, what we have done, what we have covered so far is what we are talking about, unquality. So what we are trying to see is quality from a different perspective. Everybody knows what is quality. Everybody talks that is quality is important. Everybody in the organization, every company says quality, quality, quality. But what it is not, nobody wants to get into the core issues. Only superficial level, they say quality, we like quality, we want quality. Now this quality circle, you know what is the problem. You have process problem, inspection problem, quality, good workers leave the organization, meeting increases, blame escalates, customer complaints increase. All these problems will happen if you don't follow quality systems. That is quite obvious. Everybody knows. To do that, what is there in the market, what is presently being followed is your quality control, QC, you have quality assurance, QA, you have a QMS, which is called as ISO or AS or medical standards or whatever standards, you have a QMS. You have all these things in place, right? You have QC control, you have inspection, you have stage inspection, you have inspection, you have final inspection, you have everything. You have quality assurance, QA department working day in and day out. ISO systems are put in place, procedures, work instructions, checklist, everything is in place. Then what is missing? What is missing is the resilience. That means to say you should be stubborn as a mule. That's what they say. If somebody says that something has to be bypassed, you should put your foot down and say nothing doing, it cannot be allowed. Come what may, we will not allow any deviation. It is not possible. You cannot deviate. Unless and until the deviation will not affect the overall performance of the product and the customer satisfaction. Till that you cannot deviate. That is what the quality systems are. That is what it is meant to be. So putting that in place, over and above this, then the quality model will change to this. I call it as quality insurance. Quality insurance means, again, it is my own model. I call it as quality insurance. That means what? You're insuring against any quality problems from the customer. Customer can be internal customer or external customer. So when you have these soft skills, I'm not talking about hard skills again, because you know that everybody, when you talk about quality, you start with 7QC tools. Then you start with your Six Sigma. You talk about 8D. You talk about Fishbone. Everybody talks about the tools. I'm not talking about tools. Tools are important. No doubt. You have to understand the tools. You have to learn the tools. That is different. But what I'm talking is the first thing is the first most important tools are soft skills, which we just talked about so far in the last 1 hour. So once you have the soft skills in place, that means you are a good quality person. You are fit in quality. And that is what is quality insurance. And all others will automatically follow. All these are subsets of this. Quality insurance is the soft skill. These are all the hard skills. Quality control is using tools. Quality assurance is again tools. QMS is your ISO documentation, QMS, SOPs, work instructions, formats, templates, everything, whatnot, everything. So those are all subsets. So the model is from top to bottom, starting with insurance. That is what I see. Finally, quality should be such a way that it's not this. You cannot start blaming each other. You cannot say quality means, okay, it is not my job, somebody else does. If there is some problem, I didn't know, he did it. It's not a blame game. Everybody should take responsibility. Everybody should take ownership of that, and only then it works. So what we have covered is what is quality, what is not quality is we are talking about today. What we try to cover or trying to brainstorm is about quality perception, how we look at quality, how differently the people view it, how different people view it differently, then quality upbringing, culture, and attitude. And all these are soft skills. Nobody teaches it. It cannot be taught. It should come from within. Like any childhood days, you instinct, you teach the behavior aspects for children, right? It is that way. That has to come from within. Only then it works. So what we finally say is your quality improvement journey, whether you call it as PDCA cycle or your Deming cycle, something which is leading to a business process improvement, BPI activity, finally, because quality is whose responsibility? It is everybody's responsibility. It is not one man show. It is not quality department. It is not QA or MR. It is everybody's responsibility, equal responsibility. Only then it works, because Ford has told quality means doing it right when no one is looking. That is what is quality. It is not for the sake of others. It is not for the sake of customers. It is not for the sake of somebody else we are doing. I know every company will have two sets of data. One set of data is for the management, another set of data is for the customer. When customer audit is there, you show something else. When management asks, you show something else. The actual problem is something else. It's all hidden. That is not the way it has to go. Yes, sir. This is in short about what is not quality or quality from a different perspective. Now, any questions you want to ask? Hope you got some information or a different point of view about quality. Right?
If anyone has got any questions, you can ask Sridhar. He's ready to answer.
Is everybody staying there or people have left?
Yeah, people are there, Sridhar.
Yeah, some of them have left. That is okay. Any questions, any feedback, or any views? You don't agree with my views, you have your own views, you can talk.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
sir, customer is satisfied by my performance.
Okay.
As you told, if quality is not a satisfaction. If already customer is got satisfied by my performance, how can we take the next approach towards process wise or quality? How can we? What is the best approach for the next step, sir? If the customer already got satisfied with my performance.
No, satisfied means what? How do you say that he is satisfied? Because there is no problems or what? No escapes, no rejections. So when you want to improve the quality, I mean to say quality means it is not only the rejections. It can be process improvement, it can be time improvement, it can be lean, it can be anything to save cost. Or it can be even redesign. It can be anything. It has to be a continuous improvement. So even if you reduce cost, even if you reduce time, still satisfy the customer, that it is fine. It is a profit for the company. To satisfy the customer, you may be doing inspection 3 times. You may be doing inspection 4 times. Right? and then
Yes,
finally
yes,
satisfying the
yes.
customer. But if you reduce inspection to one time and build a good process in place, and the customer is still satisfied, but you are saving cost, that is what is quality improvement. Not only aiming towards the customer satisfaction, it is also internal also.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any questions, please?
Anything else you want to ask? You can ask me anytime. You can send me a mail also, or call up anytime and ask. If you have anything to ask, we can discuss.
So members can note down the mobile number and email ID of Mr. Sridhar, and you can contact him anytime you want. So if no questions are there, we can wind up the session.
Yes, sir. That is all I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
A short presentation.
Okay. Sridhar, thank you very much for this webinar. On behalf of CASIA
Thank you,
and our
sir.
members, I thank you very much for giving us information. Okay. So hope we will have some more interactions like this.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you everyone for participating. Thank you very much. Manoj?
Thank you. Bye. Hello.
Hello.